If you take a look at successful senior leaders, directors, and CEOs, they often share one common trait: executive presence. They carry, exude, and demonstrate through every interaction they have their presence as an executive or as a senior leader. It's their presence that makes you notice them. It's their presence that contributes to the overall impact that they have. Some people say that executive presence alone will not guarantee success. That's true. But the absence of executive presence can severely limit your career progression and the impact you can have as a senior leader. Most of the videos on my channel about executive presence are for people who are mid-level in their career, those who are not yet in a leadership position, but who want to be seen as executive material so they can get promoted. But what if you are already in a leadership position? What if you are already an executive, a senior leader, or a director, or a CEO of a company, and you want to build and refine your executive presence? Well, that's who this video is designed for. What is executive presence? Let's start by getting clear on this. Executive presence is a combination of how you show up, how you communicate, and how you make others feel in your interpersonal interactions that causes you to stand out and to be memorable. So it's some type of elusive quality that leaves people with a specific memory or feeling about you. This might sound a little bit eccentric, but research by Stevenson Mansell Group says that executive presence is one of the most sought after qualities of senior leaders. If that's true, then why do so many senior leaders and executives lack executive presence? Well, in order to understand that, we need to look at two things that commonly block executive presence. And the first is self-doubt. When you reach an executive level, you might feel that you need to work on your executive presence because you doubt your ability. You might feel that you don't have the skill or the competence to succeed in your role. You might feel that you're a bit out of your depth. You might compare yourself to others and think that they are more intelligent than you. Or you might feel that you reached your level of success because of some kind of error or undeserving good luck. These are all signs that you're experiencing self-doubt or imposter syndrome, and it's this mindset that you've put yourself in that is blocking you from being able to develop executive presence. Self-doubt erodes your confidence. It causes you to feel that you're not good enough or worthy enough of your seniority. This feeling of inferiority will subconsciously impact how you show up, and it will primarily come through in your body language. It will cause you to use small gestures and closed gestures like arms crossed, or maybe even cause you to look at the ground instead of looking people in the eye. Self-doubt will also impact what and how you communicate. You might stop sharing your ideas, your thoughts, and your feelings for fear of saying the wrong thing. You might be so focused on being judged that you constantly second-guess yourself and overthink the words that you use. If you are full of self-doubt, if you are not confident in yourself or your ability, it is not possible for you to demonstrate executive presence. It's not possible for you to show up, communicate, and interact with people in a way that makes you memorable, at least not memorable in the way that you want. Amy Cuddy, in her book Presence, defines presence as the state of being attuned to and able to comfortably express our true thoughts, feelings, values, and potential. This isn't possible if our thoughts, feelings, values, or potential are being blocked by self-doubt or the fear of being judged by others. By the way, this is a fantastic book for you to read. It will really help you to understand and overcome self-doubt, how to build confidence in yourself as a professional and as a leader. I have read this book myself. I thoroughly enjoyed it and I got a lot of valuable tips from it. I will put the link in the description below if you want to take a look at it and consider purchasing it yourself. The second thing that you need to do when developing executive presence is to analyze how you currently show up. What body language gestures do you use often? What voice do you use, as in the volume, the speed, or do you use the pause? What facial expressions do you use? Do you use good eye contact? Do you smile? What about your general movements and also your outfit? All of these things form a significant part of your executive presence, and they help to create an ambience or an aura that you bring into every situation, whether it's high stake or whether it's low stake. And the thing about executive presence is that especially in high stake situations, that is when it's tested the most. This is when stress and anxiety can overtake you and can prevent you from tapping into your true thoughts, feelings, and opinions, which is what Amy Cuddy says is the pinnacle of being present. Think about your current interactions at work. Think about how you currently show up. What are you happy with? What are you unhappy with? What do you want to change about your body language, your voice, your general movements, or maybe your outfit? This will take you some time to identify because you first need to analyze how you currently show up in order for you to refine how you show up in the future. If you have any access to video recordings of yourself at work giving a presentation or conducting a meeting, try to use those recordings to learn from, study your body language, your facial expressions, the way you communicate, the voice that you use, and try to identify things that you want to change, remove, or perhaps keep about the way you currently interact. You can also use audio recordings to analyze your voice. So if you have any access to interviews you've done on podcasts or something along those lines, you can use that to analyze and learn from. You might also want to take note of the body language, the voice, the general movements, and the outfit that people you admire use. This can give you direction about what you might need to change in order to show up the way that you want. The third thing that will help you to develop executive presence as a leader is to develop an audience-first approach. So we're going from analyzing yourself, which is a me-first approach, to analyzing your audience, which is an audience-first approach. And you're really honing in on what you want them to think and feel, not what you want them to think and feel about you, which is a me-first approach, but what you want them to think and feel about your message, about what you are saying. Because remember from the definition of executive presence, it's how you show up, it's how you communicate, and it's how you make others feel in your interpersonal interactions that is important. An audience-first approach is really helpful because it helps give you guidance and direction as to how you should show up in specific situations. It helps you create the emotional journey that you want your audience to go through when they interact with you. Tony Robbins says, where focus goes, energy flows. So if your focus is on what you want your audience to feel, then that is what your energy is going to create. If you want them to feel inspired, you'll work on being inspiring. If you want them to feel urgency, you'll work on being compelling or demanding. And the bonus with an audience-first approach is it stops you from being distracted with self-doubt or negative thoughts like being judged by other people. It takes the focus away from yourself and it puts it on the overall interaction or situation. Because at the end of the day, some people do say that executive presence has nothing to do with you, but it has everything to do with how others experience you. The fourth thing that will help you to demonstrate executive presence is to prepare, practice, and get feedback. Because executive presence isn't something that comes naturally to many people. In fact, most people who have executive presence only exude executive presence because they've spent years honing in on their ability to project and demonstrate it. You might think it comes naturally to them, but in reality, they have learned how to project it. They've spent years practicing how to project it, and they practice before situations where they know their executive presence is going to be tested. Peter Kingston from Stevenson Mansell Group says that developing executive presence involves the application of skills and techniques which over time become habits. This is spot on because executive presence is a state of being that requires you to have a learning mindset. You need to stop focusing on proving yourself and start focusing on improving yourself, which is something that every person who has executive presence has done. So start writing down and rehearsing what you want to say before meetings and high-stakes situations. Start practicing how you're going to say it. Think about your body language, your facial expressions, your gestures, and even your outfit. And get feedback from trusted colleagues to see if the executive presence you are demonstrating is the executive presence that you want other people to see. This process of preparing, practicing, and getting feedback will help you build your confidence, will help you eliminate self-doubt and other fears, and it will help you to magnify your executive presence. I spoke in the beginning of this video about this book, Presence by Amy Cuddy. I will put a link to it in the description below if you are interested in bringing your boldest self to your biggest challenge. I also spoke about body language in these 2 videos, which you will see up here on the screen right now if you want to check them out after this one. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you got a lot of valuable advice and tips in it. If you did like what you heard, please hit the like button below. Subscribe to my channel as well for more content like this every week. And I will see you next week in another video.